Hey guys, welcome to A Little Less Lisa. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and this is my channel all about my health, wellness, fitness, weight loss journey. This is my weekly check-in. So what I do in this video is I tell you how my last week went, whether I'm within my maintenance range, all those kind of things, how my eating went, exercise, all the good things having to do with my health journey. So this is week 51 and let's get into it. So yes, I said I just finished week 51. That is crazy. That means that this week that I have now started, at the end of it will be my 1 year anniversary. And yes, I will be doing a whole 1 year recap, talking about my entire journey this last year and how it's been and all the things. But this video, we're obviously just going to focus on this last week. If you are new here, as I said, my name is Lisa, just to kind of give you a recap of where I started, who I am, where I am now. I am a 57-year-old, soon to be 58-year-old postmenopausal mom of 4. And I am 5 foot 6 feet tall. I started my weight loss journey at 183.6 pounds. I was a few pounds heavier when I first signed up to get my medication, but lost a few pounds by the time I actually started. So my official GLP journey start weight is 183.6. I was a fairly fast loser, I would say. The downside to that was, unfortunately, I lost so rapidly that then I also started losing my hair. So not a great thing, but I was a very good responder to the drugs. So I take compounded tirzepatide. I do get my medication from Join Fridays or Fridays Health. If you are interested in saving $100 on your first month of your medication, you can use the code LISA. There'll be a link in the description box below. Feel free to use that so that you too can save $100 on your medication, which is fantastic. I love Fridays Health. They're amazing. I can't say enough good things about them. So as I said, I take compounded tirzepatide like everybody. I started on 2.5, stayed on that for I think about 5 weeks or so, tried to move up to 5. That did not sit well with me at all. So I backed down to 2.5 and then kind of stair-stepped it up to 5 milligrams. That's kind of the beauty of taking the compounded version of the medication as opposed to just the branded in a pen. You can't really change your dose at all when you're on the actual pen because it's pre-dosed for you. But if you are taking the compounded version like I am, you can withdraw as much or as little medication as you want. So it's kind of nice if you are struggling, maybe, you're trying to move up in dose, but you're getting a lot of side effects maybe from that next dose, to back it down. And maybe, so basically I went from 2.5 to 3.75. So I kind of took that 2.5 jump and cut it in half, right? And added 1.25. So I got 3.75 and I took that for a few weeks. And then I moved up to 5 milligrams, right? So because I was essentially doubling my dose, right? When you go from 2.5 to 5, you're doubling your dose, which is pretty dramatic if you think about it. So I made my way up to 5 milligrams, and that's essentially where I've stayed, even through maintenance. I did try backing down to 2.5 for a few weeks, started to hear quite a bit of food noise, and so went back up to 5 milligrams and have just kind of been playing with how I take that 5 milligrams. So most of the time, I would say I've been spacing out my doses. So, anywhere from 7 days, which is, the normal regimen, to all the way up to 11, 12 days. And we'll talk about what I did a little bit differently this week, when I get to how my week went. But otherwise, I got to my original maintenance goal, which was 150 pounds, kind of not knowing where my body would go with this medication. I mean, first of all, when you start it, you have no idea whether it will even work for you. And second, you don't know how well it will work. And because I was now postmenopausal, I didn't know where my body would let me go, I guess, for maybe a lack of a better phrase. So I got down to 150. As I mentioned, I was losing very, very rapidly. I was responding very well to this medication, so decided to go for an even 40 pounds. So I set my goal weight for the 143-ish weight to get for an even 40 pounds. And that weight was a weight that I had maintained after another significant weight loss back in 2006, basically. I maintained that weight, within a range for about 12, 13 years. And it was a very comfortable weight for me. It was a weight I was very happy at. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I liked what I saw. So I got to that weight, thought, okay, this is the weight I've always been, or not always, but you know what I mean, a weight that I have been previously, that I was happy at previously. So I guess I'll go into maintenance now. And after a few weeks, I just kind of realized I wasn't really that happy at that weight. I didn't love what I saw in the mirror yet. And I think that had a lot to do with being postmenopausal, and, my body is just different than it was 5-6 years ago when I was that previous weight. Weight had redistributed to different places, and I was, carrying weight differently, and it just didn't look the same on me now as it did 5 or 6 years ago. So I thought, okay, well, we'll continue losing, and let's just go for an even 50 pounds. So, the 133-ish range. So went back up to the 5 milligrams and proceeded to continue to lose the other 10 pounds. And then I was happy with what I saw in the mirror. So therefore I went into actual maintenance. And as I said, I've been playing around with different ways of doing maintenance, right? Because there is no set sort of prescription, or there are no rules for maintenance. And so it's kind of a trial and error sort of thing. You have to kind of figure it out for yourself. So even what I'm doing may not be the right thing for you. So if you're somebody who's about to go into maintenance, yes, listen to how things are going for me and realize that that may or may not apply to you. So definitely talk with your healthcare provider. Here's why I should probably put that standard disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical provider. This is not medical advice. I am just simply a random person on the internet who has used a GLP-1 to assist me in losing weight through diet and exercise. And I'm just telling you my personal experience, okay? What I say here is literally just that. It's my own personal experience. So while I don't have the exact dates, I would say I've been in maintenance for, I'm guessing, probably about 6 months or so. I feel like it was somewhere in the September timeframe that I hit that 50-pound mark. So yeah, like I said, right around 6 months or so. And for the most part, it's been going really, really well. The way I do my weekly check-ins, again, if you are new here, is I don't say, when I got on the scale yesterday, I was up 1.2 pounds, or I was down 0.6 pounds from, that goal weight. Because maintenance to me is exactly that. It's your body naturally fluctuates. You don't stay at a precise weight from even one day to the next. So I feel like I don't want to say disingenuous to tell you whether I'm up a certain amount or down a certain amount. It just seems sort of unnecessary, I guess, because for me, I don't look at it in that perspective. I have set a maintenance range. Now, let's talk about that for a second, because last week, and thank you to those of you who understood what I was saying about maybe I should lower my kind of goal weight number based on my surgery. So I had been, sort of looking at this maintenance range of about 5 pounds based on that 133 point whatever weight. And also, if you are new to my channel, I just had skin removal surgery. So I had brachioplasty, which is removing excess skin and tissue from your arms. I had a breast lift, and they took off some excess skin in the side area and my breasts. And I had some very large breast implants removed. And essentially those breast implants, we've kind of figured out, weighed about 2 pounds. So my discussion last week was that losing that 2 pounds, right? Because they took essentially 2 pounds off of my body that were these foreign objects, wasn't really weight of mine, right? It wasn't like I didn't lose 2 pounds. Hopefully that makes sense. And to a lot of you, that totally made sense. So thank you, because I wasn't quite sure I was explaining that very well. And so when I talk about whether I'm below my maintenance range or within my maintenance range or above my maintenance range, I've been talking the last several weeks that I have been below my maintenance range. I went quite a bit below my maintenance range when I got back from a month-long trip to Asia with my husband. And then, I kind of hung out in that general area, and then I had surgery, and, so things kind of wreak havoc with your body when you have surgery and those kind of things. So I had lost even a little bit more than post-surgery. But my point is 2 pounds of whatever that number is wasn't because of something that I did. I did not lose 2 pounds of my body. I lost 2 pounds of inanimate objects that were stuck inside my body. So I think I am going to go ahead and sort of revamp, and I think just so that I get away from the point numbers, and because you can see now, I don't even remember whether I started at 0.6 or 0.8 in my starting weight. I think it was 0.8 now that I think about it. So we're just going to go with an even round number, and I'm just going to make 130 pounds my, kind of goal, my median number, I guess, okay? So my maintenance range will be, 5 pounds up or down from 130 pounds, okay? That's what we're going with from now on, since they took 2 pounds-ish, probably more with some tissue and stuff, off of my body, which, as I said, had nothing to do with me or, anything that I caused, right? I did not lose that weight. It was physically removed from me by my surgeon. So we're gonna go with 130. And as I said, what I tell you during these check-ins is whether I am below my maintenance range, within my maintenance range, or above my maintenance range. And I do that because, especially above, right? I have a certain amount that I'm okay fluctuating, like I said, sort of 5 pounds. But if I start going above that, then that is probably telling me that I need to refocus. I need to take a look at what I'm eating, what kind of exercise I'm doing, what's going on that's making my weight start to creep up into a range where it's not really a fluctuation anymore, but it's actually a gain. So hopefully that makes sense. So with that being said, I am within my maintenance range. I said adjusting it to this new 130 and going with kind of a 5 pound either side. So I am within my maintenance range. So I am happy about that. Would I like to probably still go up, a couple pounds, get closer to that 130 number? Yes, but I feel good about being back in my range. So let's talk about how this week went as far as eating is concerned. Probably not a huge change from any of the past week. I have really been in a funk this past week and a half. And so let me talk about that for a minute. So the way I described it to my husband is I just kind of feel out of sorts. I just don't really feel like myself. And I think a lot of it had to do with, I think all of it really had to do with my surgery. So I, had drains on either, one here and one here because of the very large breast implants that they removed that left this, open cavity in my body that could have accumulated fluid. And so I had drains in for the first 5 days where that allowed, any fluid, if it was starting to collect, it would then get drained through the JP drains and out of my body. And anyway, so when they remove those, they leave a pretty decent, it's probably a good, what is that, like half an inch or so opening in your body. They don't stitch it up. They just kind of let it heal naturally. And mine were doing fine. And they had, scabbed over. I mean, obviously it was a pretty significant opening, so there were some pretty significant scabs there. And then I started losing those scabs, but obviously not when they were really ready to come off. And so I was just having a really hard time healing those. And it was really screwing with my brain. It really was. And then in addition to that, in my armpit, so my scars go from basically my elbow up into my armpit, down the side of me, underneath my breasts to about here, and then it goes up in the center into a lollipop, around my areola. That was the lift part. And a stitch, or my incision, almost like dead center of my armpit, broke open essentially. And I woke up one morning and I felt like some wetness in my armpit, and my drain site's down here, so it wouldn't have made any sense that it was coming from there. And I was like, what is that? And I reached my hand up and pulled it away, and I'm seeing blood. And anyway, it's just been a lot. It's really like I said, just really kind of doing a number on my psyche. And I didn't feel, especially this one, then like I could move my arm. And I was coming upon my 6-week, threshold where I was going to be able to work out. And I was really, really looking forward to getting back into the gym and going back to my Pilates classes. But I felt like, any time I moved my arm sort of past, like kind of right here, it puts stress on that area. And it was just really messing with my brain, because I just thought that I would be at a certain point, and up until this point, my healing has gone really well. So the fact that this was happening, and that, like I said, these kind of kept not wanting to heal, and they told me what to do, but that didn't seem logical to me, and it just seemed counterintuitive to me, and it was just a lot to wrap my head around, and it really threw me for a loop. So I had a phone call conversation appointment with my physician on Friday, and I had sent him pictures of what was happening under here, and my drain sites. And he just explained to me, he's like, they heal from the inside out, because I'm seeing is sort of this kind of gaping hole, right, where the edges of the skin are like this far apart. Obviously not this far apart, but I'm think of it to scale, okay? How are those two pieces of skin supposed to come together? And I mean, at one point I emailed and I said, should I be getting some steri strips or something, right? So I can pull that skin together so it can heal. And he must have explained to me 17 times on the phone, God bless him, that this is what they call it heals secondarily. So it heals from the inside out, and anyway. So I am trusting in him, and honestly, I do already see progress. I am doing something a little bit different with the Curlex, and actually I don't have anything on my underarm right now. I'm kind of thinking that it'll be okay. And it's been a lot better, I have to say. Like yesterday, I just kind of got to a point where I was like, okay, he even said, he's like, if you want to go to a kickboxing class, go to a kickboxing class. He's like, I don't know if you kickbox, but whatever, yoga, whatever it is. Like, he was very adamant about me not holding back, I guess, because that's what I was doing, is I was really, favoring this arm. I was kind of walking around like, almost like I had a sling on my arm, because I didn't like I said, I just didn't want to put any excess stress on that, right on that. It's literally probably one incision or one, stitch or something that separated. And anyway, so that's a very long-winded story to just say that it's been a rough week and a half, and I think my eating has suffered because of it, although I did do a pretty good job of making some good healthy dinners for us. But I will tell you that the lunch thing has been completely out the window. But let's talk about lunch and let's talk about dinner for this upcoming week. So as I mentioned last week, I am going to be starting Factor meals. Not sponsored. They have no idea who I am. I ordered like any other normal average person. And actually, I just got a notification that they arrived, so I need to go get them. So I will now have, it's actually 6 meals, so I'll have an extra one, but I will have 1 meal for every day of the work week, which I think will really, really help me. I specifically got them for lunches. And then I also started a new meal subscription package with Home Chef. So we've done HelloFresh before, and then most recently, and for quite a while, we were doing Easy Plate, which is sort of the stepsister to HelloFresh. They're owned by the same company, but it's a significantly less expensive version of it. And we just got really tired of the recipes. There was tons and tons of repeats, and like every single thing had potatoes in it. It was like, how many more times can we eat potatoes as a side? And anyway, so I had gotten a flyer in the mail or something for Home Chef, so I signed up for that. So that box actually should arrive tomorrow, and so we'll have 3 meals that will be covered by that. So I think that is really, really going to help me kind of get back in the groove of eating actual healthy real food, right? I mean, not that I've been eating fake food. I still obviously have my protein coffee. Sometimes I have, kind of 2 if I'm having a hot coffee, but that's unusual for me. Generally, I pretty much only have my iced coffee that I have every day, but, I'm not eating protein bars. I'm not eating protein chips. I'm not really doing anything where I'm eating kind of, as I like to call it, kind of fake food. So I mean, I'm eating food, but I need to really prioritize the protein. And, I've talked about this challenge that I'm going to start in April, and we'll talk about that as well in an upcoming video. So I really do think that between the Factor meals for lunch and then having at least, a minimum of 3 dinners, just literally sitting there waiting for me to make them, would be really, really good to kind of help me get back on track and then help me as I move into this challenge. So we talked about the fact that I am within my maintenance range, and as I sort of mentioned, I could have started exercising on Wednesday, and I was really looking forward to it, guys. I mean, earlier in the week, I was like, all right, Wednesday's coming. I'm going to get up and I'm going to put on my workout gear and I'm going to go downstairs to the gym. And, I knew I was still going to be sort of limited because, it's still very tight for me, to put my arm up like this. But, there's still a lot of things that I can do. And, as I move it also, it kind of becomes looser, right? Sort of like you stretch it out and warm up the arm kind of thing. But I was really looking forward to it. And then that thing in my armpit happened and I just basically shut down. But I'm excited now. So tomorrow, or Monday, I should say, new kind of work week. I am very excited to get up and put on my workout gear and I'm going to go down and I'm going to do something. Now, is it going to be the most strenuous, strength training workout I've ever done? No, but I need to get back down there. I need to start moving my body again because I really crave it and I really, really enjoy it. So I'm excited to do that. I keep checking my Pilates, the gym or whatever, the Pilates studio where I do Pilates, has an app, and I'm waiting because I put my membership on hold for 2 months because of the surgery, and it should be ending kind of right about now. And I keep checking the app because I want to sign up for a class, but until my credits are in that, have been loaded back on. I don't remember what day, like what the date is, like whether it's the 24th or the 23rd or the 27th, I don't know. But it should be coming up soon is my point. So excited to get back to Pilates as well. So no exercise, unfortunately, even though I had intended to do so, but I feel much better now. I feel lighter. I feel like this mental burden and worrying about these, 3 sites in my incision areas, they're going to be okay. Like I really, I guess, needed to talk to the doctor about it because, going back and forth on emails, and most of the time I don't think it's him, it's like his staff, and not that I don't trust his staff or whatever, but I just needed to hear it from him, and I really, really like him. I actually know one of you was visiting. I think you live out of the country, but you have family in the New York area, so you went and had a consultation with him. So I hope that went really, really well. I think that was like maybe a week and a half ago or so. So I hope that went well. Obviously, no obligation to choose him. Hopefully you had some other consultations and you'll pick the surgeon who's right for you, but I think he does a great job. So if you're in the New York area or whatever and you want to know his name, or, even if you're like my mom and you live 3/4 of the way across the country and you want his name, I'm happy to share. Just shoot me an email. My email address is always in the description box. So anyway, this is a very long-winded check-in. I didn't really quite mean for it to be this long, but yeah. Happy. I'm in the maintenance range. I'm excited about getting back into my exercise routine. I'm excited about these meals this week. I feel really, really optimistic, which I have to say I don't think I've really felt in the last, like I said, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so. I've just kind of felt off and not really where I wanted to be. So happy that that's coming back. I'm excited about this upcoming challenge starting on April 1st. I'm excited to share it with you guys. So if any of you want to do this challenge that I'm totally making up, by the way, this is not, something I've seen anywhere or whatever, or if you want to do your own challenge for the month of April, you can do that too. But accountability partners are always nice to have. So we'll talk about that coming up in an upcoming video, obviously before the 1st. And I think that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions. Did I cover everything? I think so. I don't know, guys. I feel like I've been rambling. My apologies. But if you have any questions, drop those in the comments below. Again, if you want to save $100 on your first month with Friday's Health, you can use the code LISA. Check out the link in the description box, and that will send you over there and you'll save that $100. If you enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to keep on watching, there'll be another video in the corner here for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.